You write that what unites America is a creed. It's not anything else. And I thought that was fascinating and apt. When I was growing up, I used to think that what unify us is culture. Though you and I grew up at a time when there was a bit more of an American monoculture than there is now, back in the days when there were only 3 or 4 TV networks and everyone went and saw the same TV shows and movies, etc. How would you define this American creed that unites us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the creed contains ideas that are totally familiar to everybody, ideas that are baked into our founding and our foundational documents, ideas of liberty, equality, equal justice under law, ideas of government of, by, and for the people. These words that in many ways have become sort of, eye-rolly. It's much easier to be cynical about these words or to be scared about the ways in which people have hijacked those words for malevolent ends. But part of what we've got to do as Americans is to recognize that, the kind of remarkable, I would say actually exceptional inheritance that these ideas actually are, and our obligation to sustain them and to kind of sustain a sense of meaning in them. But B, that the way that we do that is not just to say, hey, people, gather around and you need to believe a little bit more in freedom, justice, and equality.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do
it. The way to do it actually is to recognize that these ideas from the get-go were ideas that weren't, we talk about, truths being self-evident in the Declaration of Independence, but these ideas of freedom and equality, for instance, are not themselves self-evident in their consequences or self-executing. They require us to figure out, what do we do with freedom? There is a group right now, as we speak, that's holding the House hostage called the Freedom Caucus, right? What is the meaning of freedom, right? And it requires us to recognize at the most basic level that America is an argument. We are meant to argue perpetually. We are meant to contest the meaning of freedom. We are meant to contest perpetually the tension between freedom and equality. That when you have too much freedom, you are trampling on people's equality. When you have too much emphasis on leveling and equality, you end up trampling people's freedom. And that those tensions, the tensions that go all the way back, if you're a fan of Hamilton, the musical, that go all the way back to those rap battles between Jefferson and Hamilton about the size and the role of government and central national government versus local, voice and control. The fight between the pluribus part of our national motto and the unum part, diversity and unity. These are arguments we are meant perpetually to have. And so what it means to be an American is to be perpetually arguing over what it means to be an American and to be grappling with the contents of this creed. It's not like, here's the creed, it has all the answers for us. It's, here's the creed, it has all the questions for us. And our job is to know enough about our history, know enough about how people before us have argued the creed, know about the things that people have fought for, fought each other for, struggled for, the ways in which they have not given up and not succumbed to mere cynicism. If black people in the United States in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s had just said, you know what, enough. It's been 70 years of Jim Crow. I'm giving up on the idea of freedom. I'm just rolling my eyes at equality. That's never coming, right? Then you and I would not be here right now having this conversation. But because a critical mass of people said, you know what, I insist on the meaning of these ideas, even though they've been betrayed from the get-go and betrayed over and over again. And even though I today labor under a system designed to betray those ideals, I still insist that they mean something. And I'm going to organize by 5, by 10, by 100, by 1,000 people to come together and shift the norms that shift the culture that finally will shift the law, in that case around segregation and civil rights. But I think all of that means what, the creed is an invitation to us to grapple with its meaning and then to ask, what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do about it? And that to me, again, yes, that will eventually get you to politics, elections, running for office like you did, serving in government like I did. But long before you get to that kind of stuff, it's about really spending some time and thinking about what have we inherited here and what do we owe to this system and to each other to kind of gain some mastery of what it means to grapple with the American creed.